All right, we got a special guest all the way from down under. That's right, undefeated professional fighter, Skye Nicolson. Listen, off the air, we talked about money doesn't drive you. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account, you would still be fighting. So what is it that drives you as a professional fighter?
I think my biggest drive, one, I just love to win. I love the feeling of winning. I love the feeling of like my hard work paying off. And you set your mind to a goal and you achieve it. I love that feeling. But definitely also legacy. Like I want to show people that they can literally do whatever they set their mind to. And if they set goals, no matter how big they are, they can achieve them. That's always been, a big drive and a big motivation for me.
I see you have a lot of skills. You have good footwork, you're fast, you counterpunch, you can do a lot in that ring. And nowadays, women are so much better as fighters and they're so confident, like Michaela Mayer, she feels like she's one of the best in the world. Do you think when your career is finished, you're gonna be the best female fighter in the world?
100%, I have no doubt. I can see and feel the improvements all the time. Like I'm just a baby in this pro game now. Like I'm starting from scratch, basically. And I know what I'm capable of. I know my ability, and I 100% think I'll retire as one of the best of all time.
You know, Skye, you're coming into the sport, in my opinion, to be a perfect time for women's boxing, at least a great time for women's boxing. You're already going on your 5th fight this year. We've all saw the legendary fights like Taylor versus Serrano, upcoming fights coming soon. The sport, the women in the sport are thriving now, but there was a time where it wasn't like that. Probably when you were amateur. I know you heard stories like women aren't getting paid what they should be getting paid. Women aren't getting the attention they should be getting paid.
That was just last week. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean?
Seriously, for a few years, boxing that was the narrative. Were you afraid? Did you worry like, man, this sport is not where it should be? But you're coming into it, the lights are shining on women. Were you nervous turning pro?
I wasn't really nervous turning pro because the likes of Katie Taylor, who have been such a big push for women's boxing, have kind of given my generation of boxers confidence and security in what we're coming into. So I feel like it's now my responsibility to be that next generation that's going to push and drive for the generations that are going to follow through after me.
Well, speaking of Katie Taylor, what was it like fighting on the undercard of the best boxing event I've ever been to in my life, Katie Taylor versus Samantha Serrano?
Honestly, it was amazing. There was so many pinch me moments that I just couldn't believe like that week was my life. And like literally 6 months before that, I hadn't even thought about turning professional.
Wow.
All I thought about was the Olympic Games. And yeah, and it was just like this whole new world had opened up. I'd grown up watching Katie Taylor. The first time I met her, I was 13, 14 years old, and she came out from an awards night, and I met her in a car park, and I was like, fangirl. And to be boxing on her undercard, and the hype around that fight, and then obviously the actual fight itself living up to that hype. It just got better and better as it went on, and obviously I had a good performance that night as well. So it was just all round such an amazing experience.
Going back to that night, I'm pretty sure you watched the fight, you felt the energy of the Irish people, the Puerto Rican people. Did you imagine Skye doing a ring walk in a packed arena just like that? Did you envision that?
Yes, I can't wait to be in fights like that. I want to be in history making fights just like that, and I'm so excited for that, and I actually don't feel like it'll be that far away, which is so exciting.
No, I mean, it seems like you're on a fast track. I mean, you already fought at Madison Square Garden. Wow, that's incredible. But were you nervous during that 5th round when Amanda hurt Katie?
I was actually. I was very nervous, and I feel like I can say this for everyone that was there watching the fight. You were on the edge of your seat and you didn't know what was going to happen, literally from the start to finish. Yeah. Like it could have gone either way so many times.
Yes.
And I feel like the scorecards kind of reflected that as well. And it makes for a very exciting rematch, I think, as well.
Yeah, and that's where I was going next. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a fight that you want to see again. Are you disappointed that it's not happening right away? Amanda Serrano went down. Are you afraid that it might never happen?
I mean, I think Amanda Serrano is crazy not to have the rematch. Like, the fight was so competitive and so close. Like, how could you not want it? It's the biggest name out there for her to fight. But I understand her wanting to go undisputed and all that as well. But yeah, I just feel like that's part of her legacy. She needs to do that rematch for the boxing world, for everyone.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about another matchup, and that's Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall. How do you think that fight ends up?
I've stayed very on the fence with this fight.
All right, so just tell me who you're rooting for. How about that?
It's not even that, because I have so much respect for both girls. I think they're both such champions of the sport. I think for me, because the Olympic dream, the Olympic gold medal has always been like such a big dream for me, to see Clarissa Shields, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and everything she's gone on to do in the professional ranks as well. It's hard to look past that, and it's hard to look past what she's done and not appreciate what she's done. So for me, it's Clarissa Shields. I just see her outworking Savannah Marshall, and I don't see Savannah Marshall landing that perfect shot that she would need to land. But I don't see Savannah Marshall outboxing Clarissa Shields. She would have to land a big power punch that would knock out Clarissa Shields, and I personally don't see that happening, especially over 2 minute rounds.
You know, we mentioned rematches a moment ago in Taylor Serrano. This coming week, another big rematch in George Kambosos, which I'm pretty sure you were rooting for him when he first fought Devin Haney. A lot of people are not giving him a shot in the rematch because the first fight wasn't close at all. What's your take on the rematch, and what Kambosos are we going to see?
To be honest, I find it hard to get excited for rematches like this when the first fight's so one-sided. Not an exciting fight, really. Definitely not really a crowd-pleasing fight, but I'm excited for George. I feel like he's put his head down, gone to work in the gym. He's not let all of the media and everything get to him, which I think he probably did in the build-up to the last fight. And it's all or nothing for him, really. And he's made that very clear as well. So I'm excited to see what changes he makes. I'm excited. I hope he goes out there and kind of just bites down and says, this is it, it's all or nothing, and really has a go. But it's one of those rematches that's kind of hard to get excited for. And Devin Haney's a smooth operator. So he's got a very tough task ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to bite down like he did against Teofimo.
Exactly.
So let's talk about Christina Jacobs. This is your 5th fight. You know, normally the progression is slow, for a new fighter. How do you feel your progression is in your career, and how do you rate Christina?
I feel like I am progressing quickly, but I come into the professional ranks with a lot of experience, probably more than most females around the world. I had just under 150 amateur fights, and I've been boxing since I was 12 years old. So I personally would like to be progressing quicker than I have. And I would like to be boxing. I would like to be boxing higher ranked, better, more experienced opponents than I am.
Yes.
I think a statement win this weekend against Christina Jacobs will hopefully push my team in that direction to start stepping up the quality of opponents, the level of opposition that I'm up against. I want to fight for a world title in the next 6 months, 9 months.
Barack, there's nothing wrong with that, Barack. I mean, the Lomachenkos, the Shakors of the world, the Teofimos of the world, they changed the game. They're going for titles early. So I see your vision, Skye. I don't see anything wrong with you being on a fast track. But what's a statement win for you? Is it a stoppage?
A stoppage, 100%. But I want to show levels. I want to show that I'm not just a particular style. I'm not just an awkward southpaw counterboxer. Like, I have put in the work in the gym, and I want to show that on Saturday night. I want to make her, she can box, but she can fight as well.
You have a really, really nice style. Like, I really like your style. I can't really compare it to any female that I know. So who would you compare your style to? I could compare it to some men, you know, but who would you compare yourself to?
There isn't many females that fight like me.
Right.
You could probably say maybe Savannah Marshall a little bit.
I mean, not the same feet though, not the same movement.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different. It's hard to really say. I couldn't tell you a female boxer that really boxes like me.
What about male?
Yeah, name some men, if there is any men that maybe you've modeled yourself after, or you've learned from, or you took a couple of things from.
To be honest with you, my style has come to me so naturally. It's not really from studying or trying to emulate any style. Okay. My brother, who passed away before I was born, who I never met, had a very, very similar style to me. And I never watched him, but we were both very evasive, awkward southpaws, hard to hit, good light on our feet, good angles. And the first time I watched him, actual footage of him box, I was 18, and I'd been boxing 6 years. And for 6 years, I'd heard, oh my God, she's just like Jamie. She boxes just like Jamie. It's just like watching Jamie. And I sat and watched his boxing, and I was like, wow, that's weird. It was like watching myself, but that's just my natural style.
But surely, even if you don't deliberately emulate a fighter or take things from it, subconsciously, there has to be somebody that inspired you, somebody you enjoyed to watch.
Oh, I enjoy watching boxing. I love watching southpaws. I've been told that my style reminds people of the likes of Calzaghe, of who else have I been told? Roy Jones a little bit.
Yes, there you go. That's what I was saying. As soon as I saw you, I said, oh, okay, Roy Jones Jr.
Those are great names to be mentioned with.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. It doesn't feel right actually saying it out loud.
Right. That's why I didn't mention it at first. You said it first.
He actually, Roy Jones Jr., he actually reached out to me and said, like, if you're ever watching any of my fights or training videos and have questions or want me to break down anything, explain it to you, like, reach out. So that was really cool as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Listen, Roy's a great guy. Look, before we get out of here, how many more fights does Skye need to fight and win before she says, all right, I'm ready for a world title shot?
I'm ready for a world title shot now.
Wow,
but
after this win.
Let's give it 2-3 fights. I'll be fighting for my first world title, 100%. Early 2023.
You know how they say Savannah Marshall beat Clarissa Shields 10 years ago, and they're bringing that up to make it, to make some kind of spice in this fight. Is there anybody for the amateurs you're like, okay, I want to see you in the pros, what you did back in the day?
To be honest, I see a super fight with Amanda Serrano. We don't have any history, obviously. I would love that fight. I'm ready for that fight. I want that fight within the next 12 months.
Two southpaws.
Yeah, 2 southpaws.
You know she hits hard. You see that.
Yeah, I've seen it. But she's got to be able to land the shot.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I like it. Well, listen, Skye, we'll be tuned in for sure. Good luck, and hope to see you again.
Thank you guys so much.